Welcome to a HealMeToo at-home podcast extra. I'm your host, Hope Singsen, and I'm really delighted to welcome Sherina Davis, a professional trainer, ontological coach, and educator with Safe Horizon, to lead us in a bit of meditative practice that can help us get grounded. So first, welcome, Sherina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Also still with us are Sherri Papamihalis. Did I say it right this time? I've just muted you. Let me unmute you. Sherri, did I say your name right?
Yes, you did. Very good.
Okay, good. So also still with us are Sherri Papamihalis and Maureen Curtis of Safe Horizon, who you may have heard in Season 3, Episode 2. After our conversation about all the stresses and trauma that so many people are experiencing right now, I'm sure we could all use a bit of a chance to breathe. Sherina, would you tell us about the practice you were thinking of sharing with us today? Sorry.
It's okay. With so many things, what's right now, having the opportunity to be present is a gift, but also a resource. And when it comes to breath, thinking about the inhalation and the exhalation, that full breath brings us to the present. It's happening right now. We can't breathe into the future. We can't breathe into the past. When we're breathing, it's happening right now in the present. So being able to focus and channel on that can support us as we try to maneuver and manage the so many unpredictable things in life that are happening around us.
Yeah.
And so that was the hope, to be able to bring that space and breath to the space.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A minute ago when we first met, you said something about, now what did you say? Just offering people an invitation to be present.
Yeah.
Is a gift.
Exactly. Sometimes we're so inundated with so much that's happening and we're on automatic or overload. It's an offering. It's an offering to be still and be in the moment. It's an opportunity to be present with breath and awareness of that, which supports us to not be in fight or flight mode. And so being able to have that and to slow down, and we're worth it and we deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, would you like to lead us in a bit of practice?
I sure would. And I just want to share, wherever you are, if this is new to you, if you have been doing this for a while, it's a space for you to take a moment. It could be a minute, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, and think about what's needed for you. And so what I would ask is just to check into the body, feel it out, feel what it needs, notice if it needs to be wiggled, or stretched, or touched, or adjusted. Give it what it needs, right? And as you settle into a posture that is comfortable, where you are able to sit, where you have depth and breath, where you can get air into your lungs. And so like an open body, whether you're seating or standing or laying down, whatever that might be or be accessible for you. Yeah. So get into that posture. And I'm going to ask for us just to have 3 cleansing breaths in a way that's natural and normal for you. And as we breathe, I'm going to ask that we inhale through the nose and release through the mouth. that naturally brings the air into the diaphragm and releases it out. And as you continue to breathe, bring awareness to the toes, the big toe, the little toe, inhaling and exhaling, bringing oxygen to that part of the body. And as you bring that awareness, depending on how you're situated, bring that awareness to the heels of your feet. And if it's accessible to you, if you're seated in a place where your heels and toes are connected to the ground, feel that support. Feel your feet rooted to the ground, to the earth, supporting you without having to do anything. Start to bring that awareness and breath and attention up to the legs, the calves, the shins, and if your mind starts to wander, that's okay. Bring your attention and focus back to the breath, bringing air and oxygen to the calves, to the shins. And as we breathe, let's bring that focus up to our knees. And as we inhale and exhale, bringing oxygen to the knees. And as we move up into the thighs, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, inhaling, exhaling, focusing on bringing oxygen to that part of the body. And there may be sensations. Just notice them. And as we release that focus on the thighs, let's bring that breath in and out. And that focus into the sit bones or our bottoms. And as we release the focus on the sit bones, let's bring our awareness of the breath to the belly and lower back, mid back, and notice how oxygen comes in and releases through our inhale and exhale. And if the mind should wander, bring it back without judgment to the breath. As we release focus in that area, let's bring our attention to our heart center, to that area. As we inhale and exhale, giving oxygen to our heart center. And as we gently release focus to the heart center, continuing to breathe, let's bring our attention to the shoulders. We may start to notice sensations in that area. Breathe into it. And as we release focus to shoulders, let's bring our awareness and breath to our forearms, to the full arm, including the elbows. And as we inhale and exhale, bringing oxygen to those parts of the body. And we may notice sensations. That's okay. And let's further expand that awareness and breath to the wrists, to our palms, to our fingers. Bringing oxygen to those parts of the body. And gently releasing that attention and that focus. And bringing that attention to the neck. Bringing oxygen to the neck. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing any sensations, if any. Gently releasing that focus. And bringing attention and breath to the head, eyes, ears, forehead, the tops of our heads. And as we breathe, and as the breath comes in and out, bringing oxygen to those areas. And noticing if there's any sensations, that's okay. And let's release that focus and come back to the breath. Full focus, inhalation, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, being present to what it feels like for the air to come in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when it feels all right for you, gently, slowly, begin to open your eyes as you normally breathe. Thank you for the breath.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm curious, like, how are people right now in your bodies right now? What are you noticing? Just curious.
Oh, wait, I meant to unmute all. Hold on, Maureen and Sherri, you unmute yourselves because it seems like I'm not able to on Zoom. Thank you.
Well, I can say that after we spoke, before we started to do this, I had like a heaviness in my chest, which tends to happen a lot when I talk about the work and kind of think about what we do.
Yeah.
And I noticed it's gone. It's just gone. And so it was a great way to end very, very, very long day. So it's very nice.
I'm feeling that was so beautifully slow. And so at first I just sort of settled into breathing. And there was a moment where I noticed my breathing was easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you caught me by surprise when you talked about my heart, because everything else was so like anatomical.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt really invited into my heart, and I was very grateful for that. And then near the end, I started to experience what I sometimes attend Quaker meeting and do long, silent meditation, and sometimes, which is virtual now, by the way, so anybody could check it out if they wanted to. I sometimes if I sit long enough, I start to feel this very sweet feeling of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really grateful that a feeling of gratitude came. And Sherri, I'm moved to hear and glad to hear that. I don't know if we shouldn't comment on each other, but I was touched and glad to hear that the heaviness lightened.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
For me, I don't usually meditate, and I have to say I kind of at first resisted relaxing, and but I found it to be relaxing. I didn't close my eyes. I find that, I don't know, troubling to close my eyes. I try,
That's okay.
and then I open them. But thank you. I did find it to be relaxing and helpful, because I do. I tend to be a go, go, go person. So I think that this was a way of, you had a really nice way of helping me ease into it. So thank you.
And Sherina, you work with the staff at Safe Horizon, is that right?
I do. So, as the senior learning specialist, I have the profound pleasure and privilege and responsibility to partner with our staff with the wonderful work that they do. And so, it sometimes doesn't feel like work, with the opportunity to connect with the depth and brilliance and resilience, um, and just like the life experience that folks have. And we have about 1,000 people, and I have the great pleasure of meeting everybody and so grateful for that.
How does that work? That many people.
It's amazing. It's amazing, one, because we have the chance to like support folks to be grounded in like our philosophy around the work, around how it really focuses on the person, of the humanity of people, and being able to support folks to again connect, um, which is supports us to kind of open up for ourselves as well. Not kind of, it does. And so I'm so grateful for that opportunity, you know. So yeah.
Thank you for Thank you for sharing it with us and with the listeners and the viewers. Well, I would love if there's anything more any of you would like to share about the practice we just did, or maybe Sherina, is there anything you want to say more about how this can support people in these times, and why it's helpful, or how it works, or anything?
For sure. And it was something that Maureen had shared around not necessarily practicing meditation. And we don't have to call it meditation, right? It's around focus of breath. Some people might call it prayer. It's just presence. It's tuning in and allowing that space. It could be as short as a minute. And just being able to be with your breath. You could be sitting, you could be standing, you could be brushing your teeth and focusing on breath, right? So like I'm here, I'm right now, and have that as a tool when there's so many different moving pieces happening in our lives, we can come back to that, right? If I'm a staffer and I've heard a challenging story, I can come to that breath in that moment to center me, to ground me in here and right now. So that way my brain is it's doing what it's supposed to do, but I can bring it from here to the breath. If I'm starting to feel overwhelmed or anxious, which is a thought, I can bring it to the breath. And it doesn't mean that I have to do anything about it. I bring it to the breath. And you can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it with your eyes open. But giving yourself the gift of that time can really help physiologically what may be going on for us, and support us, again, to be present, and to be able to have our brains not go into, oh my gosh. Right? And in that practice, and as we're modeling that, we can model that not only in the client work, but we can model that for our peers and for our families. And when we're commuting, especially with thinking about how we're phasing into these different phases. And as we're in different spaces, we can come back to the breath. Even with a face mask on, you can still come back into the breath. Right. And so again, as a tool, and it's ours.
Yeah, it's happening whether you're attending to it or not. And if you, And actually something you just said about modeling, it made me think, the way that we human beings are wired with each other, the way that we do mirror each other unconsciously. And we even have the mirror neurons happening in our brain, which are almost giving us the experience of what we see in the other person. So if I'm maybe in a stressful encounter, even just taking that moment myself may even help lower that level of stress between us. I bet it sometimes does.
Yes. And it's free.
Love it. It's a birthright.
Right.
Well, thank you, Sherina, for leading us in that beautiful experience. And thank you again to Sherri and Maureen for sharing about your experiences at Safe Horizon and what's been happening in the world of your clients in this time. It's a real gift to be in community with all three of you. And I will just say that we'll continue to offer meditations and other bits of practice and tools during the podcast extras throughout season 3 to offer support while we all navigate this extraordinary time. So I will, as I always do, invite listeners to subscribe to the HealMeToo podcast and festival YouTube channel, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts to get every new episode and helpful tool. Until next time, I hope everyone will stay safe and strong. And thank you for listening.